I think that it is definitely possible to argue that Tim Berners-Lee could be perhaps the most influential person in our lives that none of us had ever heard of, or that very few of us had ever heard of before this class. What he did was remarkable. It was revolutionary. It unleashed the World Wide Web that we use every single day. He did not make a single dollar from it, and he opened it up for all of us to use. It is remarkable, and this individual is definitely someone that we should thank. There's no doubt that at the very least we should know who he is. We should think about him along with the Bill Gateses of the world, along with the Steve Jobs of the world, along with these computer and tech pioneers and giants. What he did was absolutely enormous, and yet most people have never heard of the name Tim Berners-Lee. Hopefully we'll all remember him after this. We also heard two really important examples of how democratic the internet actually is, and two strong arguments for how the internet is democratizing the world. The first is Wikipedia. The second was Ushahidi, coming out of Kenya. Now, both of these are very important. Obviously, Wikipedia allowing for this incredible wealth of knowledge shown to be extremely accurate and created and edited by users around the world. Ushahidi is a perfect example of how a new web-based tool allows for a great amount of power to be given to people who previously had virtually none. And that increased voice, increased ability to pull up a seat at the political table is really what this democratic potential of the internet is all about. And that brings us to our third example, the Arab Spring. Now, the Arab Spring really started in June 2009 when a revolutionary wave of demonstrations, protests, and wars occurred in the Arab world and really took off in late 2010. To date, rulers have been forced from power in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and Yemen, and major civil uprisings have taken place in Bahrain and Syria, with other serious protests existing in Algeria, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Morocco, and Sudan, and minor protests in a handful of other nations throughout the region. The protests have shared techniques of mostly civil disobedience in sustained campaigns involving strikes, demonstrations, marches, and rallies. And all of these have used some effective use of social media. Social media is something we've alluded to, but we're going to talk much more about throughout the remainder of this course, was used to organize and publicize activities. What we're going to see now is the connection between two important events. Twitter and the increase of Twitter and what Twitter was as sort of a laughable new social media technology, and then what it became with the events that erupted in Iran and the Iranian protests. Afterwards, we'll sort of deconstruct what actually happened there and how Egypt responded, which really shows the true power of what the internet can do to help democratize these conflicts.